Hello, how do you do? You might notice that I'm not at my desk. I'm actually in Sri Lanka right now, but I figured I really want to hit that weekly upload, so that's what I'm doing. I've just stuck the camera on out here, and I've got a microphone, which kind of makes me feel like a newsreader, but it's just because I don't have any other gear with me to hold this microphone, and good audio quality is essential to good viewing, so you're friggin' welcome. Anyway, I thought I would do the AMA, just because holy hell, man, I have felt so much frickin' love and support. Oh golly, I sound like such an influencer, but from everybody who's written a comment lately, or anybody who's asked me anything. I mean, the fact that people would even be curious about like what markers I use, or like opinions that I have on stuff, or even my music taste. Damn, I am so supremely overwhelmed and humbled. Holy shit. There's some that I think I can save for an entire video in themselves. For example, one that came up a lot was my tattoos, and just asking for the backstories and a bit of a tattoo tour. So I'll release that the week after, just because that's going to take, that's a whole video in itself. I don't have that many tattoos, but I do think that they all have kind of like funny little stories, and I think that will be a fun video. All right, what have we got? Why are you called Struthless? So, by SpongeBob Human Pants. Good God, look at your profile picture. That's that 3D artist whose name I wish I knew right now, so I could sound a bit smarter than I am. Alright, why am I called Struthless? Honestly, it's a portmanteau, which is, you know, where you smash two words together. But yeah, for me, it was the word struth and the word ruthless. Now, if you're not Australian, you won't know what the word struth means. It just means, honestly, like truth. It's like an exclamation. It's just something that you would say if somebody told you something that was a bit, you know, crazy or truthful, or, you know, and you were like, holy hell, is that true? So you might say struth. Or if you were agreeing with someone that something was true, you might be like struth. So yeah, I just chucked struth and ruthless together one day when I was just mashing up words, which is a common hobby. I think I really do enjoy doing that. And honestly, when I came across those two words together, I was surprised that it hadn't been done before, because it just feels like, I don't know, as an Australian, that portmanteau was just begging to be not only discovered, but milked. So my businessy head was like, oh, I should make like a clothing brand and call it that. I could do something like that. And then I ended up using it for my Instagram name at the time, where I was making bum bags and doing stuff like that, just writing the word Struthless on them. And then people started calling me by that. So I was like, oh, screw it. You know, I'll roll with the punches and just use it as my username, and just use it as now my art name. So that's kind of how that came to be. Struthless. All right, mad. Did you attend art school? No, I did not. I did attend university though. After high school, I went and started. I definitely did not finish. I don't deserve those points. I started a physics degree, and I was promptly kicked out of uni for certain reasons. And then I felt a little bit like, oh shit, I really do want a degree. So I just applied at the one school that would take me, which was some party uni out in Bathurst called Charles Sturt University. And I did a bludge degree, aka advertising and marketing. Yep. Now I've got Milo's mentality. Said, what is your sexual orientation and how do you feel towards trans and intersex people? I am straight, and the way that I feel towards trans and intersex people is honestly deeply sympathetic. I couldn't imagine what that journey must be like, particularly in a world full of cunts. I can only imagine that it would be very, very, very hard as a journey. I do try and make an effort to understand as much as I can about that journey. You know, if my trans and intersex friends let me, I will ask questions, just because I like to deepen my curiosity about everything. No, mostly curiosity and sympathy about what it must be like to play on hard mode, particularly as a demographically blessed young man who is from a developed country, who is white, straight, and a male. Wildflower Boy says, what is your taste in music? What bands would you recommend? P.S. I'm so happy your channel is growing. I haven't been a subscriber for long, but I'm already constantly longing for more content. Thank you. That is so... Just going to chuck that a little heart. Frickin' lovely. What a kind thing to write. You didn't have to write that, and you did. And that blows my mind. So my taste in music, oh man, it's so eclectic. It's so eclectic, and that is a lazy, lazy, lazy answer. A couple of bands off the top of my head. Mountain Goats, Ski Master the Slump God, Josh A, and I Am Jake Hill. Faces, who else do I like? Dido, I just adore Dido. The child in me is always going to love Eminem. I grew up right in the full front attack of that influence. So yeah, just love. Aussie artists, I like Smith Street Band, Camp Cope. Problematic combo. People must think of their answers before they go through these lists. Paul Simon, there we go. There's a great one. Just adore Paul Simon. More ones about my tats. That's coming next week. I have 2. 1, what markers do you use? And 2, can you do more vids of characters in other styles? So I'll answer the second one first. Yes, absolutely. When I get back from Sri Lanka, I'll just start doing that series again because I loved that. I love that so much for so many reasons. Mostly because I could really actually express how much I love just the whole world of drawing and illustration. Now for the first part, what kind of markers I use? Check this shit. Copics, mostly Copics. This is my travel pack, which is, I think this is 72, does it say? It's probably 72. And I like to use, you can see the sort of colours I like to use. I don't use heaps of red. If anything I do, if I'm ever using a red, it's going to be a pinky red. But yeah, I use a lot of pinks, a lot of yellows, a lot of blues. So this is my travel set. I also use Iron Lax Strikers, and I would recommend those pens as well. And that was from Phoenix Lunsford. All right, this one's from The Wrong Antlers. It says, "Hey Struthless, I absolutely love your videos. Thank you so much. And I was just wondering, if you had an animated show, what would it be about?" Holy freaking dooly, dude. You are reading my goddamn mind. Having an animated show is one of the highest things on my bucket list right now. Getting any kind of animated show onto something like Netflix or Stan or Amazon or whatever the streaming services are, or television or something, is just so high on my priority list. And in terms of what it would be about, I did do a drawing not too long ago about a family at Christmas. This was kind of based off people that I'd seen in my own family. And I really liked some of the characters, so I'd love to do like a family comedy. I think that'd be really nice. But if not that, there's a few other ideas in my head. I'd love to do like a post-apocalyptic one, wherein like societies have formed, trying to replicate the societies of old in the same way that we might copy the philosophy of the Greeks, but the only thing that survived the apocalypse is advertising. So everybody gets their ideas from ads. And you just kind of get this cheesy fake society, and I just think that'll be a whole lot of fun. It might be more of a movie or a graphic novel concept than an ongoing series. I don't know how much you could pull out of that, but yeah, that's another big idea in my head. Also like a fake news show, but yeah. Puddin'Chock says, "Do you 420 blaze?" I used to 420 blaze a lot, Puddin'Chock. Now I do not 420 blaze at all. I used to be big, huge stoner. And I'm quite glad that I'm not, but I'm also quite glad that I was one, if that makes sense. So sometimes it's nice to go through that, just to have a wider understanding of what it is that people go through. Rat Punk asks, "Do you believe in aliens?" Shit yeah, I definitely do. Gracie Dav says, "What childhood show impacted you the most?" Shoot. I was very much raised by television. Probably The Simpsons. In terms of a kid's show, I guess Rugrats, Cat Dog, or Hey Arnold, in terms of kids shows. But in terms of grown-up shows, definitely The Simpsons. And Pokemon. Good lord, I loved Pokemon. "Love your content, mate," says Dalia Ali. "Just wanted to ask, what failure are you most thankful for?" Oh my goodness, so many. All I do is fail. It's the opposite of that DJ Khaled song. All I do is fail, no matter what. Except instead of saying no matter what, I might add, and then I learn. All I do is fail, and then I learn. Isn't that a nice little philosophy for life? So in terms of my failures that I'm thankful for, I would say this year, the one that stands out to me, God, that was such an awkward sit. How non-casual is this? Holding a microphone, tries to go for a sit in a plastic chair, and as it starts folding, I just decide not to and then point it all out. So in terms of this year, what I would say my favourite failure was I broke my hand. I broke my, right hand, I think around April or May. And you can see this in my videos because I start wearing a hand cast, but I broke my drawing hand. Now, the thing that really added insult to injury is I was kind of going through a bit of a rut with my own drawings. I was kind of getting like in this stale, repetitive zone where I couldn't really think outside some box or limitations that I'd placed on myself. And like I said in the last video, I do believe that quantity gives you quality. So in my head, I was like, all right, well, the way to get out of this rut is just to draw as much as I can and to push myself to the limit. But of course, that was met with a broken drawing hand. And I remember just feeling such intense sadness about it. And I was like, oh shoot, if I couldn't, if I was in a rut before, I'm in a super rut now. And the doctors were like, well, you can't draw for 6 weeks. So I'm like, all right, well, there goes my income. And so 3 weeks later, I ripped off the cast and started drawing again. But you know what happened? This is so beautiful because I had so much pent-up drawing energy that I managed to, I don't know, I guess like the suppression of that passion led me to pour out new drawings that completely shattered that rut. So as soon as I could draw again, or as soon as I decided, not the doctors decided I could draw again, the first thing that I drew was Kirk Van Houten in 9 styles, and it led me to a series that has just expanded my horizons so much. I think with that series, like a week later, I did one about SpongeBob, which went crazy Instagram viral and just doubled my following in the space of about 3 days. And so I was like, okay, see ya, right? I know what I'm doing now. So that was just delightful. Scott Kelly asks, what is your favourite Aussie slang term? I do love how much we say cunt quite casually. My buddy Zach got me saying Christ on a bike. And then finally, I guess I also like, okay, when someone's a bit, how you going? I just love that. So to be, for the non-Australians, being a bit how you going is a bit like sus or a bit, like suspicious, kind of like, or just a bit nothing, rough around the edges. I don't know, not doing a great job of explaining, but you kind of get it from the intonation, he's a bit how you going. Where did your name come from? All I can think is ruthless toast to strudels, lol. Thanks, K80. Answered that earlier. Trenton Hinman says, what's your favorite cartoon character of all time? Fuck. Baby, what's my favorite cartoon character? My fiance says that I love Pingu, but he's not a cartoon. I do love Kirk Van Houten from The Simpsons. He's just so pathetic. Oh yeah, I do love Marge as well. Randy Marsh. I'm gonna go with Randy Marsh. Just an absolute winner of a character. South Park's the greatest. In terms of kids shows, probably Spinelli from Recess, maybe. She's cool, she's tough. I like her. Max S asks, what do you do for work? Mostly I illustrate, which is brilliant. Yeah. And then occasionally I will film ads. That's my background, but that has in the past year become less and less frequent, and drawing jobs have pretty much taken over almost completely now. And I say almost completely because if someone were to say, hey Cam, can you come film an ad? I'd probably say yes, but that hasn't happened in a little while. It's almost all been illustration jobs. So at this point, I do feel like I've very much quit my day job, but until I do the last ad job, I'm not going to completely say that. Can you just say tattoo? Tattoo. It makes me happy. Jacob Smith. Thank you, because a lot of people tell me not to. Tattoo, 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 tattoo. Ha 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 ha. Maxipops. Top 5 artists who inspire you, or what kind of music do you listen to when drawing? If any, love your work, man. Smiley face. Thank you. When I'm drawing, pretty much like house, techno, lo-fi, a lot of electronic music. I don't know, some kind of like electronic beat that you can just zone out to, which is why my Spotify Wrapped told me that my most listened to genre of last year was lo-fi, which is whatever. And top 5 artists who inspire me. In terms of artists, I'll round it down to illustrators because otherwise we'll be here all day. I'll go Terry Denton, Robert Crumb, Dr. Seuss, Hergé, Reg Mombassa, maybe. I do know that they're all white men. Sorry about that. That's just the exposure that I had when I was young. It's probably saying more about the industry than anything else. Littlebeaucreep says, hey, I've been watching your channel for a while now, and I just really love your vibe in general, but I specifically love the videos. I love the videos. Sorry, I'm so bad at reading without my glasses, but it's just, yeah. Videos you do where you just sit and talk, like getting whatever you need off your chest. Thank you so much, because I really love them too. I'm not sure why, but I find those videos really uplifting, and they really help ground me when I'm starting to panic about life and stuff. So thanks, dude. Congratulations on the 50K. Well, thank you so freaking much. That is so nice. And yeah, because I don't have my desk with me, that's probably going to be the vibe of the next 4 videos for the next 4 weeks while I'm in Sri Lanka. Holly Ann says, do you have any advice on becoming more motivated to do things like draw and create when battling with being very, very unmotivated. That is a whole video in itself, and I'll do absolutely a whole video, and I'll start with that comment because that is a huge thing. I'm just going to save that for later. Use this little screenshot. I did make a video a little while ago called How to Get Ideas Even When You Feel Like Shit. And the main thing that I would say for me is write what makes you angry, because you might not find motivation and happiness. You might even not find happiness at all if you're in like the depths of a dark episode. But usually anger is quite accessible. And so sometimes you can find a little bit of motivation there. The other way that you can get motivation, and this is sort of a bit more, this requires a little bit of energy, so I won't assume that you have energy, but should you chance across energy, action can actually lead to motivation. So if you just start doing the work, but I know that that's not very helpful to hear when you're feeling low. So instead of trying to give you a sort of 1 minute answer, I'll make an entire video about this topic because I think it's really important, and I think it's also something that I deeply relate to. Good Lord, my emotions are a roller coaster. 24/7, Holly. You can actually drink every time I say friggin'. You will get fucked up. What's the most important life lesson you've learned? Found you not too long ago, but think you're really cool. Thank you, Quinn Eagles. Eagles, sorry. Although Eagles is also very nice. Life lesson. Follow your intuition 100% of the time. Every time that you don't follow your intuition, it usually ends up biting you. So just whatever your gut says, just listen to it. Molly Brimmel says, hey, I love your videos so much. Been watching for a long time. Thank you. Do you have any pets? And what's your favorite style of hat? I love a good dag cap, as you can see. Also love a good bucket. And pets, yeah, I got 2 dogs. Here are them. I love them. This one's Max, this one's Spike. They are my babies. I adore them so much. Might have to make 2 AMAs because there are a lot of questions here. Someone 65 says, am I going to die tomorrow? Yep. Chicken Permission says, what's the top thing to do on your bucket list? Catch a bird with my bare hands. One day I'm going to do it. Hiya says, Sash Ash, which artists inspire you? This is going to sound weird, but not an artist, but someone who inspires me every freaking day. Steve-O. Harry Richter, can you drop a Pikachu and Lightning McQueen hybrid? Yes, stay tuned. Greg, complicated username. Are you going to do a tutorial video or something like that in the future? Should I? I could. Yeah, why not? Oh Fire asks, what's the loosest city in Australia? Canberra. It is the most underrated city in Australia. Everybody smirks at it. Everyone turns up their nose and says, oh, Canberra. But you don't know, man. You just don't know. Marcos Bacademos says, maybe a bit personal, and sorry if I cross a line. I'm certain that you won't. In the past, you haven't hid the fact that you used to do drugs. What led you to that habit? And to anyone struggling with something similar, what would you advise? What led me to that habit of doing drugs? Honestly, so much stuff, man. Growing up was turbulent, I guess, and then a lot of bad stuff happened. Which I'll probably go into when I'm ready, because I do think it'll help people. Anyway, drugs were the answer for me at that time, and I struggled with them for a long time. And as for what I would advise, so, oh God, everybody is so different, but honestly, it will not come down. Is that a bug on the screen? Yeah, there we go. That's better. In terms of what I would advise for somebody struggling with drug addiction, I would say drug addiction is symptomatic of a deeper pain. It's smoke, not the fire, and you can stop the smoke, but unless you stop the fire, the smoke's always going to be there. So for me, it was honestly therapy. I needed to go to therapy for, trauma, just mad trauma. And that's what I did in 2019, which made 2019 one of the happier years of my life, and that really helped. If you're not ready to do that, some things that can assist you, or if you've done that and you still find that you have a physical tendency to want to do the drugs, or you have a physical addiction or some sort of dependency, then I would say finding endorphins in other ways. Running is huge, or anything that consumes you completely, or even like replacing the dopamine cycle with something else that's a little bit easier for you to get off, which I know isn't great advice. Also, not a doctor, but you guys knew that. Mostly what I would say is find out why you're doing the drugs, find out that pain, and sit with it. Sit with it without feeling like you need to numb it immediately. And that numbing comes in many ways. You might check your phone. You might immediately start thinking of something else. But the more that you can sit with your pain, the more easy you'll find it is to not do drugs. I hope that wasn't too condescending, but that's just been my experience, which is all I can talk from. Jaden Wright says, what are your guilty pleasures in music and film that wouldn't normally fit in with your normal tastes? Matchbox 20 and Michael Bay. Daniel Ward says, how is the resolution from New Year Who Dis coming along? Good. So what I said then is that I wanted to stop doing drugs, and any time that I would feel like doing drugs, I'd make a video instead. I slipped up 4 times throughout the year, which sucked. But I didn't beat myself up too much from it. So to go from where I used to be, which is doing drugs every day, to only doing drugs 4 times a year, I mean, it's progress. It's macro progress. Now I'm going into 2020. I want to hit 0. If I hit 1, that's all right. But I want to hit 0. So yeah, great. And then I'm going to do one more. All right. Oh, this is a nice one to end on. And I've butchered everyone's name, so it's probably fitting that I butcher this one. Saj Haymans asks, if there's one life lesson you could carry down to your supporters and fans, what would it be? I interviewed Osher Ginsberg, who's an Australian TV celebrity, and he said, well, I asked him a similar question. I said, finish this sentence, the world would be a better place if everyone just... And he immediately, without missing a beat, said, gave people the benefit of the doubt. And I really, really, really like that. Just give someone the benefit of the doubt. Someone's a cunt, you know, maybe they had a shit day. Who knows? So that's kind of nice. I don't know, maybe their freaking cousin just died in a sawmill accident or something. So that's one, but I am kind of plagiarizing. So I'll find my own. I would say hard decisions, easy life, easy decisions, hard life. So if you just take the easy way out all the time, just drink beer and eat cake, you're going to have a hard life because you're going to be lethargic and hungover all the time. And then that will compound into a life where you're just a lethargic, hungover piece of shit who never does anything. And one day you're going to die with regret. Whereas if you make the hard decisions, which is instead of the cake, oh my God, this is such a basic analogy, but you go to the gym and lift weights, hooray, then one day you're going to be like, oh, thank God I made all those hard decisions. Because ultimately, the only person that you're making any of these decisions for or anything for is you in the future. So if you imagine that person in the future being like, hey, do me a favor, do this. And then one day you will be that person and you're just going to say thanks. And that's really sweet. Anyway, that's it from me, because otherwise I'm just going to talk my freaking head off and lose my voice. There are so many more questions, so let me know if you want me to do a part 2, because right now this is, I don't know, it's quite doable while I'm traveling. And yeah, this has been a really fun way to spend an hour. Thank you all so freaking much for just being lovely. I'm very excited about YouTube this year. Catch ya.